Hello and welcome to part 4 of the Gunboat from Amati. Before we continue the build, I have a couple of things what I have to tell you. Because nobody is perfect, and especially not me, I made a couple of mistakes already in the beginnings. Nothing worse, but I think I have to tell you this. The first thing is the planks on the lower deck is wrong. The strips intended for this planking on the lower deck are 0.5 by 3 millimeter, and I put the 1 by 2 millimeter planks on it, which are intended for the upper deck. Anyway, it really doesn't matter because Amati provides so much materials in the kits that I still have enough material left over to finish this model. Other thing is the what I always title as stanchions are basically the ribs of the boat or the bulkheads. Stanchions are maybe called the part what's above the deck. This and the extension of the ribs in the lower parts. I misread it in the plan because sometimes I am too lazy to check my computer because they have the English instruction and I always read the Italian instruction because this one I have on hand, and the instruction said there's 4 millimeter hardwood, so I thought that it was the 4 by 4 square bar wood, but it isn't because these extensions are already prefabricated and laser cut. So no need to cut this from this 4x4 walnut strip, I think it is. Anyway, I think it looks much better in this color, and it really doesn't matter, even so I have enough materials left over. The other thing is I found the flaw in the design. The instruction said part number 12 is a 4x4 millimeter square bar strip. Okay, that's the keel, that's not really no problem. But if you check further in the instruction, it said that, where is, there we have it, that it's basically two pieces of 4x4 millimeter strips, and that's wrong because this part 59 does not really exist, or the part 12, so whatever you want to do it. It is only one 4x4 millimeter square bar there, not double. And if you check when I fitted the bow and the stern section, I see that everything is right and the plans in this case are wrong. So I will call also Amati and point this out to them, and maybe in the future they can change it on the plan or instruction, whatever. Okay, so now in this part we will continue with the second layer of planks, and how we do this we see in the following video. Okay, so now the next steps are really going to be fun in this build. Fun is maybe not the right word. We have to construct a platform there on the stern section, and what looks like this one, and subscribed in the section J, figure 27 to 31. And if the instruction already tells you literally the problem is, then it's really going to be fun. Because first of all we have to construct a template from the rest of our 4mm plywood, and the template there's a 1:1 scale drawing in the instruction. So first we have to transfer this to the plywood, and then we're going to the next step. Okay, so that looks maybe a little bit complicated, but in basics that's very simple. I made a template from the original 1:1 scale drawing in the instruction. That's the cap rail. So I made this template. Then I put a piece of scrap on it, what fits in the slot for the keel, and I made a hole there, and there a small hole for a nail, and here for a screw. And so I couldn't put this now in like this, secure this with the screw there, and then I can put the nail in here. So this is now the shape of the cap rail, and if you remember some seconds ago we made the other template for the grid tanks. We can glue this now there because this is only a template, nothing permanently, this is only a template also. So we can glue this now here, and we have the perfect shape and position of the out there plank, or the bulwark, or whatever you want to call it. So we can form now the plank in the exact shape for the right position. Okay, so after fitting the two planks, I clamped the planks to the already finished hull, and there on the stern you can see I also put some small nails to hold the two planks in position. And because it's still a little bit wet, we let dry this now for 2 to 3 days to make sure that if we remove the clamps that the two planks will keep the form. Okay, so now it's 2 days that we put the plank on the hull, and I'm very sure that this is dry now, and we can remove all the clamps. And there we see that we have the perfect shape of the first plank we put there on the top. So because now this is now dry, we can remove now the templates and the rest of the clamps, and we glue this on the hull. Okay, so the next two strips are the walnut strips, 1.5 by 5 millimeter, will be fitted below the first plank, and the procedure is still the same, so I think there's nothing to explain. I have used the plank bender, and it's a little bit more difficult because the plank is 1.5 millimeter and it's walnut. So that means it is a hardwood, and it's not so easy to plank. So you see that the curve is not that smooth as the same as the first plank here. So for that reason I will use CA glue, and I will do this off camera because it will be not so easy to fit it on, so it has to be pressed, and will be not easy to film. But if it's finished I will come back to you. Okay, so it worked much better than I expected, but for this plank I really recommend. You see there is a very slight gap between the two planks. It's maybe 1/10 of a millimeter, so it will go away with a little bit of sanding, and then I think it will work. For this part I really recommend a good CA glue, because you need your two hands to press down the plank, and you really don't have any hands free for any accelerators or whatever, so look for a good CA glue. So the next step is I will fit in the bow in the stern section. I sanded it already, and when that is finished we can finish planking the rest of the hull. So this is now also finished. We fit in the bow in the stern section, and I exchanged the 4x4mm keel. Original it's the walnut strip, but the color difference between the walnut strip and the hardwood section there, bow and stern, is too significant, so I exchanged it from my leftover stocks into a lighter type of wood, so that it can be fitted much easier into one color. So strips are on, the two planks are on, and now we can start to make the second layer of planking. And it's nothing different than in the first layer. The only thing what we have to do is to fit, to start on the bow or on the stern, and fit the end towards the keel section from the bow and the stern. That's all. And if this is finished, I will come back to you. Okay, so you see everything is finished, and it was a really easy job, because what I said before, because this is a very symmetric shape of the hull, front to back, side, left to right, it's really all the same, so no complicated curves. And the second layer of planking is in the same method done as we made the first layer of planking. So 1 to 3 planks going from up to down, and then from the keel going outward, putting the next planks, and that's all. I have used CA glue for this because it's much easier than to use any contact cement or whatsoever, or wood glue. A good CA glue is maybe the best glue for this kind of job. So in the next part we will work on the platform there on the stern, and also some parts inside the boat, and maybe we also will put on the cap rail. So stay tuned for that, and see you there.